There has been so much Pokemon news over the last day or so with some leaks and rumors. Let's go over some of the stuff that I find interesting from these leaks and rumors and give you my thoughts on them. To stay up to date with all things Nintendo, be sure to subscribe. Welcome to Next Play. Now let's get into it. Huge spoilers ahead if you don't want to know the timeline of the Pokemon games or anything that was cut from ZA, so just a warning. You can stop now, don't watch the video if you don't want to know what's going on in the far future of Pokemon. I also won't be sharing any screenshots or videos from the leak, so if you want to go see them, they're readily available, so go dig them up yourself. There were many leaks for Pokemon Legends as a series and cut content from ZA, so let's jump into that. Before settling on the theme and setting for Pokemon Legends ZA, there was another idea floating around with Pokemon Legends Ho-Oh and Lugia, which hints at two versions of the game being released. This Legend game was going to be set in a time before Pokemon trainers existed, and a story about the origins of trainers. Now, I'm glad we are not getting the dual release. I kind of don't like that, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, Red and Blue. I understand that, it sells more copies, but it really bugs me that there's small differences in them, so I'm glad we are not getting the Ho-Oh and Lugia version, and we just got Pokemon Legends ZA. As for the theme or the story of this new one being a time before trainers existed, that would have been amazing. That's what I loved about Legends Arceus, was the fact that we were creating this Pokédex, and it was before the Pokédex existed, so seeing the old times of how Pokemon training used to be, because at one point, I would guess they were just wild animals, and we trained them similar to how we are with dogs in real life. We took this wild animal or this Pokemon and turned it into a partner. It is a bummer that we didn't get to see the actual origins of Pokemon trainers, because I think that's what Legends did so well, showing the origins of the Pokédex. So seeing the trainers would have been a totally different, feel, and maybe even change the way we look at Pokemon. There was a good bit of content cut from Legends ZA, and some of the cut content is probably for the better, or at least in my eyes. Riding Pokemon was in the beta, as well as a video of Lucario helping players jump from building to building. A bare-bones third-person shooter video has surfaced, which looks like players will be controlling where the Pokemon was attacking. And finally, some sort of 4-player mode was in the works, and it had intros similar to Splatoon. Stuff gets cut from games all the time, so seeing the non-writable, Pokemon go away or Lucario helping you is fine. But the part that I think is interesting in these videos that are showing up is, first of all, the 4-player Splatoon mode. They even do their stances just like Splatoon. I'm not sure what that would have been, if it would have just been a 4 vs 4 Pokemon battle, almost like a battle royale. It's hard to say. Either way, the fact that that is cut is good because it looks straight up like Splatoon. But I am super glad that we did not get that third-person shooter mode, because the whole point of Pokemon is us telling them what to do and building the bond, not controlling them. Now, this video that surfaced is very bare bones, and even the Pokemon models are not moving. They're moving with the character, but they're just a still model. But they all had different attacks, so this feature or gameplay element was somewhat far along, but I'm glad it didn't pan out to anything, because it just looked like a Pokemon third-person shooter, and that's not what I want from Legends, so I'm glad we did not get that. Although we do see some elements in the gameplay, especially with the reticle and possibly things along that line, but it doesn't look like we will be controlling where the Pokemon shoot and stuff in Legends ZA, so I am glad that that got cut. We also have the timeline for the possible releases of upcoming Pokemon games going as far as 2030. After the release of Pokemon Legends ZA, the next mainline game seems to be the rumored Pokemon Wind and Waves, which is set for 2026, with DLC in 2027. Now, this is where things get a little weird, because I'm not sure if this is for Wind and Waves or other games, because these leaks are coming out so quick, but it looks like Wind and Waves will be an MMO style game with survival elements where every Pokemon can be ridden or touched, and underwater exploration. Now, I don't know if this is just because like Palworld kind of like pushed the Pokemon company, Nintendo and Game Freak to be like, hey, give people what they want or we will. But the shots that I think are for Wind and Wave look amazing. The fact that there are online lobbies and survival elements are what looks amazing, or sounds amazing, I should say. I want Pokemon to be what I want it to be in my head, right? Ever since Red and Blue, we pictured it as this survival game. We're hunting Pokemon, we're attacking them, they're attacking us. And with the Legend series, we did see a good bit of that. And with the new games, possibly Wind and Waves, it'll be cool to see how they can expand on that with modern tech and hopefully modern game features. Pokemon Legends 3 will be set 1,000 years in the past, where players will be creating the first Gigamax Pokeball. Another small note is that Xenoblade Chronicles X was used to show off the full potential of the future of the Pokemon Legends games. Xenoblade is a beautiful game, and it's huge. It's a big RPG, so if this is what they're using to kind of throw out new Pokemon games, that will be amazing. I don't want them specifically to use like the combat system as Xenoblade, but just the scope and the actual level of the world and detail and just the size. Like, Xenoblade Chronicles is a big RPG that people love, and now imagine it full of Pokemon. That just sounds amazing. A multi-region Pokemon remake was leaked as well, and would have players travel from Sinnoh to Hoenn and would be heavily focused with online multiplayer. Again, this is just what we want. We want multiplayer in it. I want to be able to go hunt Pokemon with my friends, battle my friends on the fly, and yeah, a multi-region game spanning, the ultimate remake, I guess, would be what I would think. Give us some DLC of Kanto and all that. Like, imagine a world where you could travel from Pokemon Red to Blue all the way to the newest one, traveling similar like Ash Ketchum, but not take about 20-30 years to become the Pokemon Master. And finally, Gen 11 is also being worked on in some way, mostly in the early concept stages, but it's planned to be released in 2030. It's crazy to think that they're already planning that far ahead, 5 years in the future, but if they're gonna roll games out the way it seems from these leaks, hey, start planning, and hopefully it will be the game players want, and not what we got with Scarlet and Violet, but I digress. There is so much Pokemon news, I'm sure I missed something, but it's nice to at least know Game Freak is listening to players and giving us what appears to be the Pokemon games we've been asking for quite some time. I'm not a fan of leaks, but finding out the future of a series that I've been playing and enjoying my whole life is especially fun, even if we had to find it because of a hacker group. But seeing where the future could go is just amazing, and seeing that I might be getting the games I dreamed of as a kid is even better. Until next time, bye-bye.